Hello, everybody. Grandma Bev here from Life with Grandma Bev. And this is Saturday that I'm doing this, but on Fridays, as some of you know, Bob and I always used to go to the movies, to the movie theater every Friday. It's kind of a date day, and people who knew us just knew that that was our date day. They would plan things around our date day. But once the virus hit, we had to start coming up with a new thing, and that was to pop popcorn here and watch a video here, at home, either at home or here in the motorhome, make it as dark as you can. However, last week we finally felt safe enough to go to the movie theater. And it was okay. There's hardly anybody in it, we just real careful and touch things. It was expensive, just 2 drinks and thing of popcorn that we share came to $25. So this week, when it came time to go to the movies, we thought, okay, yeah, we'll go to the theater again. Okay. So we didn't know what to go see, but Bob thought he'd like to see the movie Cyrano. It'd be funny if we've been pronouncing it wrong all these years, and it's actually Cyrano. So he wanted to see Cyrano. I didn't really care. And when we used to go to the theaters, we used to always one person pick one week, the other person next week. That way, nobody has to always just see the same kind of movies. Like I know one couple that all they ever get is go see are chick flicks. Where we do it where, okay, I'll sit through something he likes. He'll sit through something I like. It's just kind of a compromise. So he said, we didn't used to like that type of movie that's set in those time period type movies. But being we got into Game of Thrones this last summer or summer before, whenever it was, we watched it. And then Vikings, which Vikings Valhalla is on now. Not in the theaters, but season 2. We thought, well, we might like it. Let's go see. If anything, there might be good scenery. And it had Peter Dinklage in it. Now, for those of you who don't know Peter Dinklage, he played in Game of Thrones. He's been in a lot of things, but he was in Game of Thrones and he played the midget guy. So we thought, okay, we like his acting. We'll go we'll go watch that. So it was a PG-13. Not really break you into it. We get there. We are the only people in the theater. It's been out a few weeks. Totally only people. I mean, we'd gone online and bought our seats ahead of time. So we could have moved, but we didn't. We stayed in our little normal seats, And we never been able to go to the movie theater here in Yuma and not had a full audience just about. Because down here, there are a lot of seniors during the year, snowbirds. And so that's what they do in the afternoons or on Fridays. They go to movies. So we always know, get there early. When they started letting you reserve seats, you knew to go in, buy your seats, But when we'd be at home up in Washington, it wasn't unusual to get a private screening. So this was quite a surprise. So I told you it was PG-13. It's a musical drama, which I didn't realize that it was going to be a musical. It starts off with all this singing, and I thought, oh no. I'm just not into musicals like that, which is unusual because I grew up with a father who loved musicals. And so he'd always get records of all the different musicals. So that's why I recognize a lot of songs from a lot of musicals because that's what we grew up on. He'd always be playing the records on Sunday mornings to get us up. Or John Philip Sousa, the band player, also would blast on Sunday morning, get up and get ready for church. And through the years, I've just kind of gotten away from liking, because he used to act in some of them too. He's not a real good actor, no, but he tries. But he loved doing it, and it was fun. He'd do it, community acting type stuff. So anyway, once it started, oh no. I wasn't going to leave after paying all that money, but we did only pay $15 for our 2 drinks and a big thing of popcorn, because last week we bought the loyalty cup, and when you go back, your drinks are only $2. That's why we buy it, and it's good for the whole year. You just bring your cup with you. So that's a $10 saving every week. Alrighty, so how do I get into it? It just seemed, back to the music, it seemed a little weird because they had soldiers and they're in these flowy, puffy shirt gowns and things, and they're dancing ballet stuff and singing. You know, it just didn't fit. It did not fit. Even when they're out on the battleground, they're singing. But I gotta tell you, after about an hour or so, I kind of got into it. And it didn't bother me anymore. It sounded good once you were able to really pay attention to the words of what they're saying. Now, some of the critics didn't like the choice of songs and stuff, but I thought they were, you know, like say the songs are forgettable. Well, no, I don't remember the songs, but at the time when I was watching it, they made sense. It sounded good. So the Rotten Tomatoes score was 85% from the critics, and surprisingly, 85% from the audience. So, you know, that's pretty high, you know. And let's see, you know, the theory behind the Cyrano de Bergerac is he had a big nose and felt that he wasn't worthy of having this Roxanne love him, you know. And Bob reminded me that years ago there was a movie that came out called Roxanne. All I can think of is Roxanne. You know, that one song that some singer sang, I don't remember. So the whole song, movie I'm hearing, Roxanne in my head. Oh, so they made it different by having a midget play Cyrano rather than somebody with a big nose, where they had to, you know, use all this makeup and stuff to make the nose bigger, and prostheses or prosthetics, whatever you call it. So Dinklage could be just his regular little self. You know, he's so cute, really good looking guy, really. I was really eyeing him up, you know, seeing. And the guy can sing. He's not the best singer, but he sang, and it was a good, you know, he's an average singer, but did fine in this one. So he played Cyrano, obviously. And Roxanne was played by a gal named Haley Bennett. And she was a very good singer. I don't remember seeing her in anything else, but that doesn't mean anything, because the last couple of years we haven't seen as much as we normally would have. So let me read to you some of the things it says here about it. In this version of Cyrano, its namesake character ditches the usual cartoonishly long nose and instead lets Dinklage's Cyrano fight other men who underestimate him or mock him for his height. No sooner does Cyrano make his memorable appearance chasing a terrible actor off the stage. It's a time frame where the guys wore wigs with the big little whoops and curls and makeup and stuff, real, you know, but he didn't. Not from here up. He wore a lot of the costumes, but not, you know, his head was his head. See, he chased a terrible actor off the stage, then does some dressed up member of the upper class insult him by calling him a freak. No matter, this Cyrano comes with a sword, fighting skills, and of course an even sharper tongue, ready to defend himself even as he's still dealing with his own insecurities about being worthy of love. So, that's a good job of it. Although he's not the cast's strongest singing voice, his acting is much more enjoyable. He brings a profound sense of passion and rejection to convey Cyrano's inner turmoil on the screen. He relishes selling the difficulty of action sequences, bringing a ferocious energy and a balletic quality to some of the fight choreography. It's a performance that works well with the inclusion of contemporary dancers. His heartbroken expression when the gal who plays Roxanne tells Cyrano that she's in love with someone else is quite the acting feat. Oh man, you read that face on him. He's so good at creating faces, you know. As he tenses his face, his eyes begin to well up with tears. But instead of blinking and letting them run, he stays frozen, holding his shattered muscle expression in every muscle. So as the story goes, for those of you who are not as familiar with it, and I wasn't until, yesterday, Roxanne is kind of, I mean, it was like I was watching a fairy tale, put it bluntly. A fairy tale. She sees this man, they lock eyes, she instantly falls in love with him, right? A man who's an average size, good-looking guy, good singer. But there's a duke who wants to marry her. Oh, and he just looks hideous. He just, those days, they just had to marry people who they were told to marry. And he had on the wigs with the little curls here, turned up, and all this makeup. And I mean, who would be attracted to that? So, this, what was his name? Christian is the name of the guy she falls in love with. And he isn't real, what's the word, vocabulary? No, he isn't good with words and things. So he talks Cyrano into writing letters to Roxanne for him. So Roxanne, every time she gets his letter, oh my God, so romantic and full of love that she just totally falls in love with the guy. But when she meets him in person and asks him to talk to her in that way, he can't. So, it goes on, boils down to, and I don't want to give any more of the story away, but, you can pretty much guess how it does go. But, it was sad in the end. My man kind of teared up. Thank God I'm on meds or I would have been bawling my eyes out. So I would give it a 4-star, mainly, specifically, for Peter Dinklage's portrayal of Cyrano. I mean, that man is such a good actor. He got pretty eyes, too. So, I think Bob really liked it, too. He probably would have given it the same amount of stars. I asked him afterwards. In fact, he was the first one who said, oh, that was a good movie. And then I had to break his little spirit by saying, well, I didn't like that it was a musical. And so, if you've seen it, please make comments below. Tell me what you think. If you haven't seen it, you might want to watch it. If you like that type. Oh, one thing we found out too. Oh, let me finish. Like, subscribe. We found out that it was all shot in Sicily, which is one of our, everywhere is our favorite places to go. And the war scene was actually shot on Mount Etna. And we've been involved in watching a series of YouTube videos by this one couple. They're called The Global Expats. And they've been doing a series on the entire Sicily. They're going to do a series of Italy, all 20 areas. So they did Sicily first. We just fell in love with this couple. They're so cute. So it meant, once we heard it was Sicily, it's like, okay. Anyway, I digress. I hope you're all having a good weekend. I hope you're enjoying these movie reviews. They're just kind of how I am. I love you all. Bye.